The blade that I have here is the Flytanium Arcade, which is sporting the Demko Shark Lock. The reason I picked up this pocket knife the weekend it was released is because it is designed to be customized. Seriously, it's designed to be modified more than your cousin's Acura Integra that he was tricking out in high school. So GT crew, stoked to be able to unpack this blade with you, share the reasons why I've carried it quite a bit since having it, and what are a few limiting factors in the design. So I'm Aaron, this is Gideon's Tactical, let's dive in. Now lately I've been really absorbed with this idea of being able to customize our gear and equipment so that we don't feel like we immediately have to go out and buy another piece of gear, That can I maybe put handle scales on an old fixed blade and that breathes new life into it because the handle scales are different and maybe more ergonomic? Can I get a different styling out of my pocket knife to breathe some fresh life into it so I don't feel like I have to immediately go get that new blade that just dropped? As a fellow gear addict, I get it. It's a very hard thing to do. Now, the company behind this knife, Flytanium, is not new to the concept of customizing pocket knives. That's how they made their bones, is offering handle scales and hardware, particularly for Spyderco and Benchmade, but other brands as well, that you could purchase aftermarket and add new variety and flair to your already loved pocket knives. So it was only a matter of time before they would jump into the idea of releasing their own pocket knife with this idea in mind, and then reaching out to Andrew Demko and getting the license to the Demko lock just adds fuel to that idea. So before we talk about the performance of the design, what are the customization capabilities that you can get right out of the gate? And you lefties, make sure to stick around because a little bit later, I'm gonna show you that there's a hidden trick to swap the pocket clip and make this pocket knife completely ambidextrous. Well, currently the blade shape is going to stay consistent, but you can either get it blacked out or stonewash. There are 3 colors on the aluminum main body. Black, like what you see here, green, or gray. Now here's where things get interesting. In each box, you're gonna get 2 different handle inlays that you can be changed out with a simple snap of the fingers. Well, not really. You're gonna need a T6 torque driver, but you get the concept. All you have to do is unscrew these 2 right here, and then you can remove the handle inlays. Now, just for the sake of this video, so I don't have to do it all here quickly, you could have black on either side, or you can mismatch like what I have done right here. But then now that changes the whole look and profile of the blade. And in this particular version that I got, you know, that yellow honeycomb or the black on black. And leave a comment. Let me know if you were rocking this blade, would you do black on black or would you do the black and honeycomb? I kind of prefer the honeycomb color myself. And depending on what color your handle is will determine what color your inlays are. I almost went with the gray aluminum because they came with a set of micarta inlays. But this is the best part. Regardless of what color your model is, you're able to pick up aftermarket inlays of all different varieties. I've seen brass, carbon fiber, copper inlays, and they float usually between $20 and $40 depending on the material that the inlay is made out of. But that's not the end of the customization options. You can also pick up back spacers. It comes as a flow-through design, but they make all types of different materials that you could throw a back spacer in there if you wish, as well as different colors of hardware that you can swap out. So you can really be constantly modifying and tricking out the arcade design. Now here's the first speed bump for some of you. If you're not into the idea of customizing your blades and tricking them out and modifying them, well then there's definitely better value out there for an S35VN steel blade with the Demko lock made in Taiwan. Because for this model, I paid $220 over on Blade HQ, and the stonewash versions will usually be about $200. Now the fit and finish is excellent, as we're about to discover, but for some food for thought, you can get the Manix 2 lightweight made in the USA with the Spy 27 steel, very similar to like S30 and S35VN. Performance, excellent, nice and snappy action. Ambidextrous, great blade, like 170 the last time I checked. And for $10 more than what I paid for this, you can get the USA-made Leatherman Arc with a Magna Cut blade. And if you just want the functionality of a spine lock, well, the Civivi Super Lock can be scored for under $100, and the Demco AD series can be picked up for under 150. So even though it's not the best value in 2023, there's so much about the design on top of the customization that really connects with me that I throw down and pick this up again in a heartbeat. So throughout this video, if you decide you want the arcade, there will be links in the description below over to Blade HQ, as well as the other affiliate networks I regularly partner with, as well as the other competitive options I just ran in. Now, if you've been living under a rock for a while, the Shark Lock from Demco Knives has a spring in it. It has this bar right here. The blade comes up, it pushes forward, engaging the locking mechanism, and then all you got to do is pull back to release the blade. There's definitely a little bit of suction. I love that aspect, and it is just as snappy as any axis or crossbar lock or push button lock. Now, aside from that fidget factor, you're going to get durability that you don't always see with some of those other locking mechanisms, since it comes from the mind of Andrew Demko, who had a hand in triad locking mechanisms that we know from Cold Steel that are some of the most durable pocket knives that were ever built. Now, as fast as this blade is to deploy and close, so is another piece of equipment that I take with me on all of my adventures, and it's today's sponsor, which is Zoleo and their satellite communication device. And with hunting season upon us, this gives you the ultimate adventure duo. With Zoleo's seamless global messaging via the Iridium satellite network, progressive SOS alerting with 24/7 monitoring and response, check-ins with an easy push of a button, as well as sharing your GPS location with any message sent. And guys, that's just scratching the surface of the capabilities that Zoleo offers you through this satellite communicator. So I'll have a link in the description below this video over to the Zoleo website. And don't forget about my exclusive promo code, which will waive the $40 activation fee. So I invite you to hop on over, check it out, and get yourself connected to first responders as well as loved ones every time you go out on your adventures. Now, some people complain about the sharpness of the Demco lock. I have not seen that to be the case on this model especially. It seems to be dialed back on the jimping and the rounding, maybe more than my AD 20.5 when I reviewed that. Now, something to note, I got rid of that AD 20.5 because of some of the things I mentioned in that video, mainly handle ergonomics. I like the handle on this one much better. It actually fills out my large size hands with just enough real estate to spare. There's no dedicated choil to worry about. I mean, I'm really locked into place there. You do have a large ricasso, so you can go right there, and that is absolutely manageable, and it actually has this kind of scalloping, so I think it was kind of intended if you want to choke up, you can, but it's not like a dedicated choil, so I like that. So I like the flow and the ergonomics better on the arcade than I do on the AD 20.5. Now, though the ergonomics are good, they're not perfect, and one thing I noticed is that the angles are pretty abrupt on the transitions. It would have been great to have these right here chamfered just ever so slightly on both the top and bottom of the handle. And when you're gripping the tool, you don't notice it. It's more when your hand slides across from side to side, or if you're doing something and your thumb goes along that angle right there. It's just not as rounded as, say, a G10 handle scale on a lot of other pocket knives would be, and it's just a little more abrupt than some that are out there. But when you're actually gripping the tool, using it in different grips, I never noticed it being uncomfortable. Maybe it doesn't feel quite as refined as I wish it would. Now, we've been talking about performance and ergonomics and customization, but the blade is really where all the action happens, right? Now, at 3.2 inches long, I think that is an excellent, just everyday use length. The cutting edge is right about 3 inches. You're gonna have an extremely high flat grind with a great relief edge with that S35 VN steel. So it's a stainless steel that is rather wear resistant for that type. I'd call it like a mid-grade steel at this point in time, meaning it'll hold a good edge and it's rather easy to resharpen. We got those purple thumb studs right there on this version, and when I was picking this out, I was like, I don't know about that purple thumb stud, but they've actually kind of grown on me, and at any point in time I can obviously modify and trick it out, which is excellent. Now, with that excellent drop points into that swedge, it's just so cool. 0.13, so basically an eighth of an inch thick, that tapers quickly to a great piercing tip with that high flat grind. I mean, it's a slicer. It slices. That's why I really like it. It's not just all this fun and form and function and customization, but it actually slices and performs really well for the general utility that I look for in a pocket knife. Now, carryability, the pocket clip has deep ride flush screws. That's so good. Not a huge flare, so this is a well executed pocket clip. Now, if you're gonna ask me, is there any hot spots on the knife? The lock does not do that. If I grip it back here, it acts as a thumb ramp, and then if I jump over to hit the jimping, I don't even engage with it. Even in a hammer grip, my webbing isn't even touching the lock. So the lock is never a hindrance ergonomically. You can definitely feel the pocket clip a little bit. That would be the only thing that I would say, is just that it doesn't create a hot spot, but it's just like, yeah, it's there. I know it's there if I'm really bearing down on the tool. Now, this is the cool part that I didn't know. I thought this was a righty only, but I found on the Flytanium Instagram page a tutorial on how to be able to swap the pocket clip for you lefties. Because on both sides of the knife, there's this secondary hole for the lower screw of the pocket clip. Now, you can't access it when you get it because the scale covers it up on the left-handed side. But if we watch this video,
you will need a T6 Torx driver, some tape, a power drill, and a 7/64 2.5mm or number 36 drill bit. Begin by removing your inlays from your arcade knife. Next, align your inlays back to back and using tape of any kind, tightly wrap the two inlays together.
There you go.
Using a power drill and your drill bit, carefully drill through the forward pocket clip hole on the back inlay and all the way through the show inlay. Unwrap the tape and admire your handiwork.
I want to get those micarta.
Not to over tighten and strip any screws or your scales. Ta-da! Your arcade knife is ready for left-hand carry.
So pretty straightforward. They do that obviously because, you know, 90% of us, literally about 90% of us, are going to be right-handed, and then that just gives it a more clean, you know, profile, because what will happen is there will be an exposed hole on the opposite side. So that's the only downside that you guys who are lefties will have to experience. So guys, there you have it. It is right now, it's in the top 5 carryable pocket knives for the fall. For me, this arcade, I just love it. It's fun to carry. It's a great size for me and absolutely gives me durability, gives me some cool functionality and style, and is able to perform for my everyday carry situations. But I look forward to hearing from you guys. What's your thoughts and take on the arcade? Do you like it? Do you not? Do you like the shark lock? Do you not? I appreciate you guys so much coming over today. I look forward to reading all those comments. And again, if you haven't yet subscribed, I invite you to subscribe and check out the other video popping up. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.